need confirmation of the interview I just did with Rich, listen to this video, and I want to make sure I get it right. This is Mark Green. He's past U.S. Army Major. He's a representative for Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. He's a member of the Republican Party, and he's also the chair of the Committee on Homeland Security. Let's listen to what he has to say.
The purpose of this hearing is to receive testimony on President Biden and Secretary Mayorkas's open border policies and how these failed policies have had profound and devastating impact throughout the country. This is the first hearing in this committee's impeachment proceedings regarding Secretary Mayorkas. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Good morning. Today is a solemn occasion as this committee begins official impeachment proceedings in the matter of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and his handling of America's borders since taking office in February 2021. I wish we weren't sitting here today. I wish these proceedings were not necessary. I wish our southwest border was secure. I wish that our government was enforcing the laws passed by the Congress and doing its job to keep the American people safe. Unfortunately, Secretary Mayorkas has done none of these things. For almost a year, the House Committee on Homeland Security has conducted a comprehensive investigation into the causes, costs, and consequences of the unprecedented crisis at our southwest border. Our evidence makes it clear. Secretary Mayorkas is the architect of the devastation that we have witnessed for nearly 3 years. The findings of our investigation, available to the public at homeland.house.gov, coupled with the Secretary's refusal to change course on the reckless decisions facilitating this crisis, have left us with no reasonable alternative than to pursue the possibility of impeachment. The Secretary's actions have brought us here today, not ours. Since early 2021, we've watched in disbelief as historic numbers of inadmissible aliens have poured across our borders, both at official ports of entry and illegally crossing the thousands of miles of our borders. On Secretary Mayorkas's watch, Customs and Border Protection has recorded more than 8.1 million encounters at America's borders, including more than 6.7 million at our southwest border alone. For comparison, CBP recorded just over 3 million encounters nationwide from fiscal year 2017 to 2020. Jay Johnson, President Obama's former DHS secretary, previously said that 1,000 encounters a day, quote, overwhelms the system, end quote. On Secretary Mayorkas's watch, encounters have never averaged less than 3,000 per day, even going as high as 10 to 12,000 per day. Just a few days ago, internal CBP numbers leaked to the media showed another 302,000 encounters at the southwest border alone in December. By far an all-time record. That's nearly enough people to fill the Rose Bowl 3 times in just 1 month. In addition to these catastrophic numbers of the record 1.8 million known gotaways who've entered the country on Secretary Mayorkas's watch, individuals that Border Patrol agents know slip across our border, but are not apprehended in large part because the cartels overwhelm the agents with large groups of coyote, paid, and escorted migrants. The agents see them and they count them, but they cannot apprehend them. But the numbers are most certainly far worse. As agents are moved to crossing sites to process migrants and the border is completely unmanned, there are no agents present to count the known gotaways. The number of unknown gotaways is no doubt enormous. Thousands of agents have been pulled off the front lines to process and release into our country record numbers of illegal aliens who know they will be released into the country and given a free bus or plane ticket to the city of their choice. I ask you to watch this video.
A border shutdown in El Paso, Texas, as hundreds force their way onto the Paso del Norte International Bridge.
Title 42 has officially expired. Homeland Security officials say illegal border crossings topped 10,000 per day this week, the highest levels ever.
Thousands of migrants in central Mexico continue to travel on freight trains and travel all the way to the southern border, arriving here in Eagle Pass.
Outnumbered and out-resourced, Border Patrol agents say they are struggling to keep up with this massive influx of migrants descending on our southern border.
Border Patrol clearly does not have the manpower to process the thousands of migrants here. So the situation is pretty dire.
Hundreds upon hundreds of adult men who have crossed illegally, waiting here in the Arizona sun for Border Patrol to apprehend them, and they hope be released into the United States somewhere.
Sources telling News Nation that agents have been pulled from nearby checkpoints to assist in processing the thousands of migrants crossing into Eagle Pass every day.
And this is all by design.
Many of you know Tucker to be a man of his word. I do. So listen to what Tucker Carlson has to say about the issues of today with migration.
The story of history is the story of invasions. One group of people moving into someone else's land and taking it. One nation ends, another begins. Invasions drive history. Few Americans understand this is happening to them right now. The United States of America is being invaded.
For the love of God, this is an invasion. Who is allowing this?
They invaded our privacy.
I think it's an invasion of the country.
In other words, it's ending. The country you grew up in no longer exists. Soon it will be unrecognizable. No one is fighting back. Few are even acknowledging it. And the people who lead us are letting it happen. Why are our leaders letting this happen? Well, to destroy the country and to change the demographics. Who lives here determines what the country's like. This country is changing faster than you may understand. Americans are being replaced. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. In August of 2023, illegal immigration outpaced American births, a brand new population. Last year alone, over 3 million people came here illegally just over our southern border. The media won't tell you it's happening, but if you look around, you can see it, and you can see it most clearly in our cities, which are collapsing. We elect people to protect us. That's what politicians are paid to do. But they've done the opposite. They've sold us out, and they've crushed what our ancestors built. Take a look at our cities. They're hellish, and immigration is the reason. The city of Chicago was in tough shape even before Joe Biden opened the border. Now, parts of it are basically uninhabitable. Even the socialist mayor of Chicago says the city is breaking under the strain.
Without real significant investment from our federal government, it won't just be the city of Chicago that won't be able to maintain this mission. It's the entire country that is now at stake.
Chicago's politicians may complain about illegal immigration in public, but in private, they're paying for it with your money. They're spending more on illegal aliens than on their own citizens. They're doing this secretly. They're hiding it from the public. Our team uncovered a shadow terminal, for example, inside Chicago O'Hare Airport. Hundreds of migrants were being hidden there secretly. Our team pulled up with cameras rolling, and at first we didn't see much. The city erected a black tarp to hide what was going on. The motive was simple. They didn't want us to see it. And a third-party security group paid for with your tax dollars told us that was prohibited. We weren't allowed to see.
What are you doing?
I want to look inside.
For what? For what?
They weren't local or federal law enforcement, so we ignored them. They had no authority. They were rent-a-cops. Inside, our team found more than 100 beds on the floor. The smell was overpowering, repulsive. It was filthy. But it's not just airport terminals that have been given over to people who've come here illegally from the poorest countries in the world, without permission, criminally, and yet being supported in every detail of their lives by taxpayers. No, even police stations in Chicago have been turned into refugee camps. This is new video never seen before of what's actually happening inside Chicago's police stations. Keep in mind, the people who work in those police stations are paid to protect you, but that's not what they're doing. They're running refugee camps for illegal aliens.
Well, that about sums it up. So if you're not feeling alarmed, whether you're wealthy or you're poor or you're middle class, this affects us all. It doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, Republican, or Democrat. This is an issue for our country. This is not anything racial. There's nothing racist about this. This is just the facts of what the Democratic Party is doing to our country. So if you're a Democrat, I would question the party you're in. If you're a Republican and you're a rhino, get out of town. If you're a true Republican and you're concerned about your country, you have to reach Congress. You have to reach all of your government entities, and you have to be outraged about this, because if we don't, we deserve everything we get. It's William Wieting reporting, Mustang Medic. This is a very serious issue in our country right now. We have to take it seriously. There's no laughing matter. Thank you for watching.